What do you call 89,000 IRS agents out of a job? That's a good start.
Good start.
We'll be back with that and more right after this. Oh, yes, we're live, and here we are.
Here's someone. It's Ballard.
Oh, he is coming. Okay, good. He made
live.
it.
Come
awesome.
on in.
We think we're live.
It's been one of those mornings
It
where
has been one of
things
those
wanted
mornings.
to do whatever they wanted to do.
And what's weird is like it only says one viewer, Lauren, and that's probably you. And so I don't know where.
No, Vicky's on here. She's watching.
Is she Vicky? Okay. Well, at any rate, I was
good morning.
like, I don't know what's
Good
going on. Hey,
morning.
Chris, how are you?
I'm doing great.
I'm glad to hear that.
I'm sorry I'm running a little late.
That's
had
okay.
such a beautiful conversation down the sidewalk that
Beautiful. It's
I
a
lost track
beautiful
of
morning
time.
too,
Well, that's all
it
good.
really is.
and it's going to be a beautiful afternoon.
yeah,
No,
what? I'm loving this weather.
it's nice.
I got up yesterday morning
Yes.
and went for a walk in the woods.
Very good. You should do that.
It was 20
Anytime you get
it
a
was
chance.
25 degrees, freezing cold, but there was no wind. And by the time
not
I
bad.
left at 11 a.m., it was like in the 50s.
Yeah. The
So
girls
good.
wore like t-shirts to school
So
today with
good.
their little heavy coats for the
Okay.
first recess. It's working. Oh, you know, I'm doing that thing where my video's on. Sorry. That's me.
okay. Yeah, okay. We're good.
It's a rookie error.
I was a little concerned because normally we'll have, 8 or 9 people.
Well, they're probably confused.
Were they
since we had
waiting
a-
for me? Was
They
that
were.
it?
Yeah,
Like,
that's what it was.
They're like,
Ballard.
It's just not the same without Ballard.
I know what they wanted. They wanted our
just not the
sponsor
same.
logos on.
oh, there it is. Well,
No, I think probably we tricked them this morning because we started the show
Smoke
and
mirrors.
then
It froze.
yeah,
Froze mid waffle batter.
yeah, frozen the waffle batter froze up, so we had to restart the whole shenanigans. But we did, and we're back. So that's all.
Okay,
good.
well, it sounds like I came just at the right time.
you
I
did.
think you did.
You did. You nailed it. That was perfect.
So your teasers, you talked about 89,000 IRS agents.
So the first thing that the new Congress did after they finally elected a Speaker of the House was they passed the, what do they call it, Family and Small Business Protection Act, which repealed the legislation
thank you.
that funded the 89,000 IRS agents that they passed last summer.
I'm going to go out
So
on
did
a
a bunch
limb.
of guys lose their jobs?
I'm going to go out on a limb, though, and say I highly doubt they had already hired
they hadn't.
all 89,000
But-
of those agents.
Never ruin a good story with the facts.
Good morning,
So
Beth.
We like the...
So we can play the sob story that these poor people all lost their jobs.
Well, I'm not sobbing over any of that.
Well, no, me either. I'm saying, but is that what you're saying? The press has done.
Oh, I
don't know
don't.
what the press
I
has
don't
done
know that they've done that. I think they're probably not reporting because I don't think you're gonna hear that about that on the news because that's a win for the Republicans. It's a win for the people. It's a win for
everybody.
conservatives. And Hollywood, Washington, and the mainstream media don't like that.
Yeah.
And so they're not going to tell you about that, but we will, or I will. I will tell you about that. The IRS took, I don't know. They lost something they were hoping for, I guess.
Yeah.
I
But
don't
since
think that was
basically-
the right thing to expand right
Well, you
now.
know there's a problem with the IRS when honest people like myself have a low level anxiety this time of year, every year.
Oh, 100%.
Because you've got to prepare something that you know you're going to do it with all the honesty in the world, and yet you still might mess it up, and you still might cost yourself money that you shouldn't have been paying in.
It's just
Yes.
It's
the
just,
maths are really wacko.
It's just so wrong.
Mm-hmm.
The
It
income
is.
tax
The
is
whole
so
thing is
wrong
so wrong.
on so many levels. And, I lived for 45 years kind of thinking, yeah, income tax. That's that's bad. It's bad. That feels bad. I don't like it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until the last 2 or 3 when I actually started doing the research and the thinking and the looking into it that I realized it's not just bad. It's evil.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
morning,
a
Stephen.
wicked thing. Everyone that works for the IRS is in their heart a thief,
No.
or you could not do that job. You couldn't. I mean, it's simple thievery.
I think people-
It's a violation.
Here
The
goes
entire process. You got me. I'm on. I
He's on.
started it. I started myself. So here I go. It is a inherent violation of the Constitution, the Fifth Amendment, because it has a guarantee against self-incrimination. And yet, if you don't file a tax return and accurately report everything they think you should report, they will put you in jail. So even having to fill that out, is a violation of the Constitution.
And if you've ever received a letter from the IRS because a computer saw, hey, you earned this and we didn't get this, and like no human eyes have been on it, but you get this letter. I've had it, and I'm sure many of our listeners have received something.
You know
like
what
that
I got
before.
in the mail one time? This is probably 7 years ago. I got 2 letters from the IRS in the mail. You underpaid. You owe us money.
Right.
The other letter, you overpaid. Here's a refund check.
Yep.
What?
Because it went through a super system, and the number said this, and then it went through it over here, and the number said this, and it's just no human eyes were
There
ever on
is
that.
No way it should be this complicated.
The U.S. tax code is larger than the rest of the body of law in the United
There's
States
no
code.
way. It's not so.
Stupid.
It's crazy.
And I'm tired of pretending that it isn't. And we need to stop. And that's why we formed Missourians for Fair Taxation. And we meet once a month and we complain about things like this. And we attempt to influence people that have the ability to make a change.
Well, there you go. I'm glad you added that last part. Otherwise, you were just a few grumpy men.
I enjoy being a grumpy
I
old
know
man.
you do. I know you
He
embrace
does.
that.
He does. He thoroughly does. Well, let's be. There's been multiple things here recently that it's like it's time for people to start paying attention to what's going on.
It really is.
And there's a lot of good-hearted people in this world. There is a whole lot of people, too, that love to take advantage of loopholes. Good morning, Tatiana. And guess what? The citizens are going to have to kind of start being the watchdogs again because nobody else is.
Well, the income tax code is built on loopholes at this point. I mean,
100%.
its whole
It's
purpose
nuts.
is to favor these people and punish these people. You read it, if you can spend any time at all reading it, it's just shocking the extent that they go to with the tax code to say, we don't like you, so we're going to tax you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we do like you, so we're going to give you all these favors and loopholes and things out. And actually, if you really are interested in this, there's a couple of guys, not me, they're called the Fair Tax Guys, and they do a podcast. And about every week they release a little podcast and they tell you about all the stupid things that are literally in the tax code or are being
drive me
proposed
crazy.
to be in the tax code.
They drive me crazy.
And I just think you need to know. And sometimes, you watch CNN and NBC just to keep your anger up so that you know that so you don't get complacent.
I don't. I don't want to.
You got to remember in this larger conversation how many people celebrate tax time because this means money's coming to
Correct.
them in their mind. In their mind, I'm getting a check,
And it's just a scam.
right? But the majority of people enjoy it because they're not thinking through. And I don't want to sound like just my situation's different because of the way I pay my taxes.
Yeah, me
As I'm
too.
considered self-employed.
Yeah.
But you just begin to see it differently. And so if everyone could understand that, no, you're just getting money that never should have left your pocket.
Well, if you enjoy that, if you're a person that enjoys that, I've got a great deal for you.
Right?
You can give me
Yes.
a couple $100 a month. I'll hang on to it
All
for
year
you
long.
all year long,
And I will give it back to you.
and then I'll give it back to
in
you
March or
in
February.
in
or
February,
whenever.
March,
Yeah.
and you'll get a refund from me.
Yeah. I would
do it.
even be willing to give them a tiny bit more.
Oh yeah, I'll pay you a little bit of interest.
A little bit, yeah.
That's a better deal than the
Absolutely.
government gives you.
So when we sold, and this is a little more personal information than people would assume I'd give out, but when we sold the Heritage Post building, right at the corner of Mill and Center, Sue owns it now. The bakery's in there.
Time to loaf, wonderful place to get breakfast.
When JR and I,
lunch,
JR and I bought that building in like 2018. It was a disaster. Okay, I mean it was a mess. It was not in good shape. Every element of that building over, I guess, 4 years. Yeah. We worked ourselves on. I mean, we had contractors, but we also put the blood, sweat, and tears. I mean, I have permanent, I think, damage from painting, like 5-gallon buckets of paint, right? Mm-hmm. The blood, sweat, and tears put into that building to get it back and make it look good and make it something that was working, and not just for us but for other people, right? Was crazy. So then we sell the building, very reasonable price to Sue, right?
Sure.
And makes perfect sense, all sense in the world. The tax ramifications for that, I wanted to die.
Thanks for punishing my hard work.
Yeah,
right.
And that's exactly what they did, and that's exactly what an income tax does.
And I'm talking small scale compared to what other people do, right? Jared and I are real estate investors. We're primarily realtors, but we are, we do some stuff on the investment side too. But good grief, it's insane.
Well,
and you email your accountant like, hey, my accountant, what am I looking at here?
And that's the thing is, like, and I spent a little time in the tax and accounting industry, and I called on small business owners, and I got to see how crippling it was for them. They didn't know how to view the tax code. They didn't know how to prepare for the tax code.
Well, it's a crapshoot because nobody knows.
Right. And so they're out there working their tail off, and some of them, it broke my heart to watch people working 60, 80, 100 hours a week. And really, they were working for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Part of that is on them. I'm not going to just completely shift the blame to the IRS.
But you're taking home 30%.
Making it so hard.
You're taking home 30% of what you earn if you're lucky.
Yeah.
Well, and we've got another problem happening too right now. People are getting personal property tax bills, and what has happened is the price of vehicles has gone up, and in a lot of situations, especially about 2 years ago, sale or property tax went up in several counties, including Greene County. So at that same time, they increased property taxes, and then they also reassessed. And guys, people are getting bills that they can't pay, that they never expect. I mean, somebody bought a Chevy Blazer, and their tax bill was their property tax bill, not the sales tax, was $900.
Wow.
And they're like, what?
Yeah.
That's significant.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's crazy.
at the end of the year, right? And surprise, this is what it is, by the way, because you're never going to be able to calculate what that is.
What if we got rid of all income taxes and all property taxes statewide in the state of Missouri?
So you're just looking for a pure consumption tax.
A pure consumption tax, yeah, we can do it, and it would easily fund the state government. It would easily fund the cities. It would easily fund the counties. Yep. It would not punish the producers. In fact, the really cool thing about a consumption tax is it puts everyone on the same page. Everyone wants the same thing then. Mm-hmm. The cities, the counties, the state all want businesses to do well, and they want the economy to thrive because that's the only way they're going to get paid.
And I cannot tell you the uphill, and Kick says abolish the IRS, I cannot tell you the
right.
uphill battle of a small business owner.
And we can do that with a fair tax.
And it is not the same for the big corporations.
And it's your opportunity to punish the rich, right? Yeah. Isn't that what everybody wants on the one side of the aisle?
Yeah.
And make the rich pay for it. Make the rich pay for it.
And you can't do that.
They don't, yeah.
It doesn't, right. You can't do it.
But that's what they want.
In any scenario. The only thing you can do is make it fair.
Exactly.
But you can't use it to punish the people that are in charge of producing because they just pass the cost along.
100%.
Yep.
It's easy. It's just so blatantly obvious.
It's to me, and I'm
one
talking
class in humanity, like study human behavior, and you will know that this is how this works.
You can't
beyond economics. It's just human behavior.
If you know what you're doing, if you pay attention, if you do the research, you understand that the only reason to have an income tax is to punish people. Is there's no reason to do that. It's not. It's control. It's not the best way to fund your government. It's really the worst way to fund your government because it inherently pits the people against the government. So let's put them on the same page with a consumption tax. You can go to fairtax.org, find out more. You can go to
Fine with that.
fairtaxmo.org.
Because guess what? I can really control how much taxes I pay for the most
That's
part
right.
in that sense.
And what's really cool about a consumption tax is you know how much tax you are paying.
I can budget for this.
You can budget for it. You're not just going to get a tax bill out of the blue and go, oh, crap, now what do I do?
I just
you'll know
think it's
when you do.
asinine that they send those out at the time that they do, at the time property taxes are due, because it's like, oh, I needed another bill right now.
Yeah.
And especially you think
Christmas.
about like seniors who own their own homes getting that bill at the end of the year, people who have a complete fixed income that they're working off of.
If you want to know how sick our government is, even in the state, all you have to do is look and see what they're doing right now or just got done doing, which is the state of Missouri collected in excess of $6 billion in tax revenue. $6 billion that the state didn't need. They got $6 billion extra. What do they do in Jeff City? Ooh, how can we spend this money? Give it back. Just give it back. It's not yours. You stole it anyway.
You did nothing to earn it.
You didn't earn it, but we did. Give it back.
That's right. When you're voting, that's how you make change.
Thanks, Beth. When are we voting? You can come to a meeting on the 20th of this month at 1304 East Kingsley.
I learned something from every one of those meetings.
And
they're always very
it's a
interesting.
fun meeting. We have some really cool
casual,
people there.
and it's fun.
And we have great food. It's catered by
tasty.
Divine Deli, caters that thing. Thanks, Garrick.
Didn't know we were going to go this route, but here we are.
No, that's where
people are getting at their wits' end, in my opinion. They're to a point where they're like, I can't afford my grocery bill.
Right.
I can't afford my tax bills. I want my, I still want to give my kids a good Christmas. I still want to go take one vacation a year. Where is this money going to come from?
Well, and I would say until there is that kind of change, if there's ever that kind of change, have a tax strategy. That's something that I don't think most people know. You can go to your employer and rework how your paycheck withholds the taxes.
Yeah.
Hold on to as much money as you can. I'm in the spot where I'm considered self-employed, even though I'm employed by the church.
Yeah.
It's the way they view us. So I pay quarterly estimates. And I pay as close to that estimate as I can because I don't want the government holding my money. I want it in my bank account.
Yeah.
I save it. Now, I have to be disciplined, but I save it so that in those 4 quarters I can pay my estimate. But I want my money in my bank account, not their bank account.
Realtors are notorious for ending up.
Look, I commented on our own show.
Look at that. Yes, Stephen, groceries they're nuts. I mean, the grocery bill stuff has gotten completely crazy. And I mean, you have to feed your family. And there's a lot of people out there that are, I'm going to be homesteaders and I'm going to figure out how to feed my family.
It's a great idea.
In concept, that's great. But man, it is hard.
Yeah.
And you're going to have a lot of loss and you're going to spend a lot of money trying to do that.
Yep.
And so we're really kind of held by this system. And especially in Missouri, where we are not the most favorable growing type, weather. So, I mean, it's because I do in real estate, I encounter people all the time that are like, I'm going to move there and I'm going to homestead. And I'm like,
okay.
Have you lived in Missouri before?
How cool would it be
Hope
if you spent no tax, you paid no tax whatsoever on all of your spending and income up to the poverty level? How about that?
That's one of the things that we've talked about.
Which would mean that all of your groceries, tax-free. Up to the
Kix
poverty
talking
level.
about S corps, and that's something too. And that's the other thing. When you start a business, you got to navigate. How is the best way for me to open this? What are all the things? Another thing.
And if you have questions about that, I'd be happy to sit down and talk to you about that. You can go to.
I mean, it is a daunting task. I think at least once a year, and this happens in Rogersville, it happens everywhere. Someone's like, "I'm going to open a business," and they rent a space and they put a sign up. And then someone's like, do you have a business license?
Do you have a permit?
Do you have a permit?
Do you have insurance?
Have you had fire inspections? Do you have insurance? Do you have an LLC set up? And then the reality of the situation hits. Yeah. And it happens every year.
Yeah, and to kind of push back a little bit, Kix, great comment. I agree. A lot should look into an S Corp. It's not for everybody, though.
Correct. Yep.
There are reasons that will help you again with the tax codes, but there's also a reason to not and remain as a sole proprietor or an LLC.
Yeah,
which is the same thing.
And an LLC actually is more like a corporation that is a sole proprietorship because you get all the liability protection if you draft it correctly, and you can opt
liability
for
protection. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, if you do it right rather than doing it like you're by yourself, you do get liability protection when it's done correctly. But an LLC can file for an S corp election under the IRS tax code. You don't have to be a corporation to get the treatment as an S.
That's
S
right.
corp. It's kind of a misnomer.
But again, the fact that we're having this added conversation, well, sometimes maybe if you do this, and all these variables, it shouldn't be that complicated.
Well,
it
I was
shouldn't.
having a conversation with somebody the other day, and
I knew you wouldn't disagree with me, Kicks. Yeah, there's variables.
I'm an attorney's kid. She's an attorney's kid, and when she bought a house, her dad was like, "You need to put your house into, you need to set up a beneficiary deed for your house," which short says when you die, this person gets your house, right? It keeps it out of the probate.
You guys need to get a room or something? You guys need your sideshow over there?
Kicks and I have
Kicks. Yeah, you're having a little love fest going on over here.
Yeah.
Man crush,
So the conversation we were having was, how would you know that unless you were a lawyer's kid?
Yep.
And you wouldn't. That's the answer to that question. And she's like, well, as realtors, do you give that advice? And it's like, that's kind of shaky ground because we're not supposed to practice law. So telling one of my clients, hey, you really need to set up a beneficiary deed, that's kind of legal advice.
Yeah, but what you can do, I mean, you don't have to, and maybe it's not, certainly wouldn't always be appropriate, but you can always say, it might not be a bad idea to talk to a lawyer.
It's a good time to talk to a lawyer. Now that you're a homeowner, it's a good time to talk to a lawyer. But that
I'm super jealous.
He's just, I can feel the jealousy and tension in
Just
the
vibrating over here.
So the point is there's a whole lot of people out there.
Coming to see you, Kicks. You're cutting my hair in about 2 hours.
I think he's cutting Jesse's hair today, too.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
He's furry. Just going to throw that out there.
The reality is Kicks just wants my hair, and I just want his beard. You know? I mean, it's just, it is what it is.
Oh, my gosh.
But you talked about selling that building and, how would you know, and lawyers and all of that stuff. There's things you can do when you sell appreciated property like that to mitigate your your tax.
Yeah.
But people don't know it. I mean, you can do things with trusts and LLCs.
Well, that's why I go back to have a strategy. And I'm sorry that you have to have a strategy, but you literally need one because, you remember Trump's a great example. Like, release the tax returns. And, well, he didn't pay any. You know what? If you're not thinking of ways to pay less tax, I'm sorry, that's on you. But if you make millions...
Oh, boy. There's a whole side convo going on in the comments.
Oh, my goodness.
If you're not reading the comments, you should probably jump.
It's like this aggressive conversation is being buffered with witty,
my hair's turning
banter.
gray too, so it's okay.
Oh,
man. You have to know the loopholes. And if you're not taking advantage of loopholes, what are you even doing?
But what we want is for you to not have to worry about that. You go to the store, you buy what you buy, you pay your tax, and you're done. You don't file a tax return. You don't have to do any of this.
Life is complicated enough.
Depending on who's in control, you don't get punished or favored because you're on their team or not on their team by the tax code. It doesn't happen anymore. And we need to do that. And what people don't understand, I'm going to keep educating people about this, is we haven't always had an income tax.
This is interesting.
We've grown up with an income tax, and I think 99% of Americans just think that's the way it works, that you have an income tax. Your income is supposed to be taxed. It's not. Our country was not designed that way. We didn't have an income tax until 1913. We've had an income tax. As of February 3rd, we've had income tax in this country for 110 years, and that's it.
Yeah, there was a reason this country got started. I don't know if anybody remembers this. I remember. From your history book in first grade. I think you probably learned this. Yeah.
Yep. Tax codes you can use for your advantage.
Guys,
it's a mess.
You're welcome, Vicki. I'm not sure everybody appreciates it, but I'm going to stop talking about it for a week, maybe. But yeah, seriously, if you really want to know and talk to people that do know, we've got state and federal legislators that show up at our meetings on the third Friday, and they'll hear what you have to say. They need to hear what you have to say because they need to be encouraged to do the right thing because there's plenty of people surrounding them, encouraging them to do the wrong thing.
I'm looking at comments. This is great. I'm expecting Kicks to kick the door in and grab a microphone and start talking.
You never know.
I had a couple other things I wanted to say.
I have something to add. Well, we can do that. That's no problem. I can send you a link, Kicks, and you can just come in on the.
I know. I just envisioned us like, let's go to Kicks at his barber shop, and Steven's in his truck right now.
That would be awesome. We should start doing that. We'll do that.
I have to laugh about that. Chris Carter, who has Sunshine Drywall, who's been on Friends of the Park with me forever. I call it Action News with Chris Carter because that dude is everywhere all of the time, and he is always reporting on things on Facebook, like, oh, there's an accident here, or, there's a llama, like whatever.
There's a llama.
I call it Action News with Chris Carter.
Is that llama still sleeping?
It's a llama. That's my llama.
Llama watch.
Nice.
Oh my gosh.
We made we did as a fundraiser for about 3 years. We would host large rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock tournaments. And it was awesome. It was so much fun. We'd have rock, paper. You'd play rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock. The first of 5 wins won the round, and then you would move on. It was like a double elimination tournament. And I told him, I said, the way everything works.
Did that come from Big Bang Theory, or was that something before?
Lizard
It was before Big Bang, and they highlight. So
That's
you have
we know about
rock,
it.
paper, scissors, lizard, Spock.
Yeah, see, I'd be out. I can never
Spock. And
my fingers to.
and I used to be able to tell you rock beats scissors beats paper.
Oh, Ballard's doing Spock. You can't get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so here's the
He's
thing,
dead.
we may need to get it out there and show people, but and what I envisioned, because I was thinking a little bit ahead, is like, okay, after 3 or 4 years, this is going to get kind of old, and we're going to need a new little hook for our rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock tournament. And what I said is we're going to introduce and a new one. It's going to be rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock, the rise of the llama.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
And every time in every round, you got one llama.
That just blasts
And
everybody out of the water.
nothing beats the llama.
You only get to pull it out one time.
You only get to pull it out one time in your match.
The nuclear llama.
And so, and the real trick would be is if 2 people threw the llama,
Ooh.
they cancel each other out, and you lose your llama. But the llama beat everything.
That was worse than a lost llama.
Can I use the llama with my kids? Like if they're just pushed me to the edge, can I just go?
Well, it kind of works like, the sign language. The sign language for
a pillar
no.
of salt.
The sign language symbol for no or stop. It's kind of like a llama.
Read that.
My kid added Jesus.
And it says the wins the rock, paper, scissors.
That's
What is
true.
the Jesus hand move? What would that be?
I don't know.
It's the praise hands emoji.
There you go.
Oh, throw it at Jesus. Oh gosh, my favorite thing to do though, and this is one of my favorite things to do. When you're out and about and you see an abnormally large Jesus, you go, Jesus!
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah.
The meme.
The meme.
A cross with both.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about using Jesus like that on people. Like,
Yeah.
I'll trust their hearts, Tatiana. I'm sure they have sweet
You
hearts.
can use the Bible. It's the sword of the Spirit.
That's
so
right.
that would work. It'll slay all your enemies.
It's like the Bible drills growing up.
Flea market,
Present sword.
swords. Yeah.
Present sword.
Yeah, present sword. There you go.
flea market shopping's a great place to holler Jesus, because you'll be walking along.
Oh,
and you'll
there'll
look
be
at
a
a booth
Jesus.
and there'll be an abnormally large Jesus picture, and you're like, Jesus! It's one of my favorite things. Oh, I love it.
Joshua.
Yeah, Yeshua.
Yeshua.
I did some flea marketing over the weekend. I yelled Jesus a few times.
Did you now?
That's just that's a symptom of the Bible Belt, right?
Yes.
Is it?
Abnormally large Jesus pictures in flea
yes.
markets.
Okay. Now
Jesus
that,
sells.
Yeah.
And there's some very creative ones out there too.
I bet there are.
Wow. Yeah.
You're making me twitch over here. Pastor's getting twitchy.
Well, it's interesting because we can bring this full circle, because a lot of people, when you start complaining about the taxes, will say, but Jesus said to pay your taxes.
We're back to taxes.
Oh, boy.
Because he said, give to Caesar that which is Caesar's. But I read and posted an entire article on why that's not what he meant.
Will woke up and chose taxes as the topic for
I
the
guess
day.
I
He's-
did.
he
does
Actually,
that a
He's
lot.
making distinctions of kingdom here.
Well, he is. And what happened was I saw in one of my morning newsletters that they canned the IRS agents.
Oh, that's what started this?
That's what started it. And I thought, well, that'd be fun to talk about. And then it just kept going. What did I do? What did I do this time?
I have no idea. Oh, no.
Because I brought it back to taxes. I think.
Yeah.
We were off
I was going
taxes.
to say, his last post was Yeshua.
Now we're
so
back.
Everybody's blood pressure was starting to go down,
calming
and
down.
we're back.
We're talking about Jesus. Everybody's calming down. That's what Jesus does. He brings peace to our hearts, our troubled storms.
Taxes.
Jesus, take the wheel.
What are we going to do? Well, we're remodeling Unit C slightly, not much.
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah, we are excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll have some back to the taxes.
Yep.
So we're going to be moving here maybe the next couple of weeks.
If you don't know what he means, there are 11 units here at Jamestown,
Yes.
and Will is moving out of the Enterprise Center, which is an
Moving on
office
up.
sharing space, and K-ROG is going with it.
Oh,
So
man.
Unit C will be, I'll have a brand new studio.
That's right.
Tatiana's covered
Yes.
this topic, too.
Preach it. That's awesome.
She's like, and I have a rebuttal for that.
Good job. You get applause for that one.
Tatiana's like, I got a little sermon I've been working on, and here it is.
Here it is. Well, Tatiana's been on the waffle. She could come back.
I love it.
Yeah.
That would be fun. No, we're remodeling over there. We're going to have some.
Kix gets its own stage.
We're working on it. We're working on a stage. There's some cool stuff going on over there, and one of the things that I think is really cool, and we've told people this in the past, like if you want a show on K-ROG, you can have a show on K-ROG.
Yeah, we will totally let you do it.
Yeah, you can do it. It's totally. But
You
one
might
of
want to push back on that just a little bit.
there maybe
You might want to submit a proposal, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm just looking out for you. I'll be your legal advisor
you
right
can be
now.
my advisor right there. That'd be awesome. What does a car actually cost? Well, okay, so that's a very long conversation, Beth.
We have fired up our core this morning.
You don't want to. We know we've reached our base.
So basic.
We have a list of topics to finish out in the next 8 minutes if we stay on task. So. But as to does Kix get his own stage in the show? So what we're actually doing over there is we're building platforms and sets on coasters so that we can move them around, and we'll have
backgrounds, right?
different backgrounds, and then the production center that has the lights and the cameras and all this control equipment on it will be on a pedestal in the center that we can move and turn. So we can actually
super cool.
set all different kinds of stuff up, set up different sets. You can decorate it the way you want.
I just want a
come
green
in,
screen
come out.
so I can move.
We can do a
this
green screen.
Big weather system moving from the R down here to the E.
And see, currently you'd be invisible,
Right.
because you're wearing green. Ish, is that green?
This
No,
is
I
green.
think
Your
it's kinda
eyes
yellow.
are.
Oh, it
messed
looks
up.
kind of green there.
I see it's casting a green hue on my
doesn't look
brown.
green here.
Yeah.
Here, you want me to make it green? Watch this.
Oh, geez. Are we going to turn into Martian?
Oh.
Ew.
That's not good. I'm feeling sick.
I was going to say that kind of makes me.
Okay, is that better?
And we lost our base.
Yeah, we lost our. So the thing about the taxes on a car, Beth, that you have to think about is somebody dug the raw materials out of the ground. Some company did. And when they sold those materials, they had to pay income tax, and so they built the tax they had to pay into the cost of those raw materials when they sent them to the parts people, right? Okay, Kix is out.
Glad we can help.
So there's a level of tax built into the cost of the raw materials. Then when the parts were produced, there was another level of income tax that was then built into the price of those parts when they sold them to the manufacturer. And then the manufacturer had to pay income tax. And so there was a level of income tax that was built into the price of the automobile before it ever even got to the dealership. And so before you're paying taxes on the cost of your car, about 50% of the cost of that car is already taxes. And that's what the income tax hides from everyone, and that's why it is insidious and evil and must go. Thanks for watching. I hope that answers your question, Beth. So
I have nothing else to add to that.
Nothing else to add to that. Well, we'll be back next week.
All right.
We good to go?
I have no idea.
Maybe we will. We may get shut down. You never know.
I'm going to go calculate my mileage for
Yeah,
taxes.
sounds good. Mic drop. I got the mic drop. There's no sound for that. Thanks,
I have no
Jason.
idea.
It's good to see you.
PTA Valentine's Dance is coming up. It's
excellent.
Family Valentine's Dance on February 10th. We have released ticket information and everything yesterday. It's going to be a fun family event at the Upper Elementary where you can come and dance the night away. And Skinner's is going to cater a meal. It's going to be $10 per ticket, and it's going to be awesome. Family Valentine's Dance.
Okay, you probably just said this.
February
and I was
10th.
February 10th.
6:30 to 8:30 p.m.
That's a Friday night.
It's a Friday night.
And where's it at?
Upper Elementary. PTA Family Valentine's Dance.
Okay, sounds good. Well, maybe we'll all be there. What the ticket prices are?
$10 a piece.
And we get them from you.
And you get it from me, and it's going to be a PTA Family Valentine's Dance.
Well, that sounds awesome. I hope to see everybody there.
It's going to be a blast. Blasty blast.
In lieu of that, we'll see you all next week. Thanks
Bye,
for
guys.
watching. Bye.